Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session of Structural Organization in Animals, Theory Part 3. This is the NCRT section 7.2 and 7.2.2. Disclaimer. And today's learning objective to understand the features of the circulatory system in frog, its heart structure, and its function. So, we will see today how the circulatory system works in the case of frog, what is structure and what are the functions. Next, to understand the feature of excretory system in frog, its mesonephric kidney structure and its function. So, we will see the excretory system, how it works in the case of frog, and what is the structure of this mesonephric kidney, right? And we will also discuss about the related functions of the kidney. So moving forward. So this is the index frog. We are studying the frog, that is the 7.2 section of the NCRT, and in that we are studying the anatomy part, that is the 7.2.2. Then after completing these two particular subtopics, we will have summary. There will be some NCRT based questions related to today's lecture. There will be some keynotes. And at the end, there will be some interesting questions that you are going to solve with your own. So let us start today's lecture with the frog circulatory system. So frogs have a closed vascular system. The circulatory system is also called as a vascular system. So wherever there is a transportation of the liquid substance, so that is called as the vascular system, right? So here the blood is the liquid part and it is transported to the different parts of the body through this circulatory system, right? So it is having a closed vascular system, There are two different types of vascular system, open type of vascular system and closed type of vascular system. When we were studying about the animal kingdom, we have discussed about this closed and open type of vascular system. So open type of vascular system, the heart pump the blood directly over the cells and the tissue, right? There is no vessels like thing that transport the blood to the destined organ, right? But here in the case of closed vascular system, there are specific vessels that leads to the different organs from the heart. Okay, so this frog is having the closed type of vascular system. So it contains the two main components. What are the main components? First one, the blood vascular system. This blood vascular system consists of heart, blood vessels, and blood, right? This is the first component, blood vascular system. So the very important organ for the circulatory system is the heart, right? That is the pumping organ. And there are different types of vessels, blood vessels, arteries, veins, and blood capillaries. So these comes under the blood vessels, right? And there is blood, that is the fluid connective tissue. That is also the part of the blood vascular system. The second part of the vascular system is the lymphatic system. It consists of lymph, that is again a type of, you can say the liquid substance. And there are some lymph channel and also the lymph nodes. Okay. So here you can see the circulatory system is closed in the case of frog. So this is amphibian, a frog, right? And here you can see the deoxygenated blood. This is the blue color, deoxygenated blood. It is transported to the arteria part, right arteria. And from here, it goes to the lung for the purification. Once it gets purified, it is transported back to the left auricle. And from there, it goes to the ventricle. When it goes to the ventricle, as the ventricle is having only one chamber, here the ventricle is not having the two chamber, right? It is one chamber. So here you can see that the in ventricle mixed type of blood is there, mixed type. The deoxygenated blood and the pure blood that comes from the lungs, it get mixed in the ventricle part. So it become mixed type of blood. So, but here you can see there is a closed circulation. The circulation between the lungs and the heart, lungs at the heart, that is called as pulmonary circulation. And there is a circulation between the body parts and the heart, that is called as systemic circulation. So both the type of circulation, you can see that there are, it occur through the specific blood capillaries, blood vessels, right? And in blood vessels, there are arteries, veins, and blood capillaries, right? So all things are there. So this is the closed type of circulatory system that we can see in the case of frog, an example of amphibian. Now we will see the heart structure. Muscular organ located in the upper body cavity. In the case of frog, it is a highly muscularized organ, right? And it is located in the upper body cavity. The body is divided, external morphology, if you remember, the head and the trunk region. In the trunk region, okay, the body can be divided into two parts again, the chest or the thorax region, and there is an abdomen region. So this heart is located in the chest or the thorax region. That is also called as upper body cavity. That is called as upper body cavity. Three-chambered. Very, very important point. The heart of the frog is three-chambered, two atria and one ventricle. The heart is enclosed within a double-layered membrane that is called as pericardium. So what is the function of pericardium? Pericardium is a double-layered membrane that is present all over the heart. And between the wall of the heart and this membrane, there is some liquid substances present in between. That is called as pericardial fluid. Pericardial fluid. So every delicate organ, you will see that they are having some liquid substance. In the brain also, cerebrospinal fluid, there are meninges, and between the meninges and the heart, there is this liquid substance is present that is called as cerebrospinal fluid. And in the case of lung also, pleural membrane is there. So why these liquid substances are present and there is a specific membrane to these delicate organ? To provide protection. When there is a applied hard pressure from if there is some external force, so when it hit to the heart, that force get minimized when it passes through the liquid, and we will get minimum pressure on the heart wall. So this is regarding the protection. So the heart is enclosed within a double-layered membrane that is called as pericardium, and between the heart wall and pericardial membrane, there is some liquid substance filled that is called as pericardial fluid. Okay, so here you can see the heart structure. So this is the first atria, and that is called as right atrium, and here it is the left atrium. This left atrium receives what type of blood? It receives deoxygenated blood from the body. And there is sinus venosus. Here you can see this is the opening that receives the deoxygenated blood, and it comes to this atria. Now from atria, it goes to the ventricle, and from ventricle, it is transported via pulmonary artery to the lungs to get purified. Once it get purified from the lung, the blood comes to the right atrium through the pulmonary vein, and this pure blood goes to the this lower ventricle. As it goes to the lower ventricle, there is always impure blood is here, so it get mixed with the impure blood. So that is why the ventricle is having the mixed type of blood, and this mixed type of blood is transported to the every parts of the body. Okay, we will see the detailed structure in the coming slide. The space between the layer is the pericardial cavity. So coming back to that pericardial membrane, so there is a cavity. Cavity means space. That is called as pericardial cavity, which contains the fluid that protect the heart from the mechanical injury. That I've already explained you. Any type of external pressure when it is applied on the heart. Okay. So this pericardial fluid minimize that pressure because that is a liquid now. So in the liquid, okay, the liquid spread. It is not hitting as you press the heart because that is the solid part. But when there is a liquid, the pressure get minimized as it spread everywhere, right? So the minimum pressure, it is transported to the wall of the heart. So it protect, this liquid protect from the mechanical injury. It also allows it to move freely during the contraction. So it is also not only this, it is helping heart to move when there is a process of contraction and relaxation. So this fluid is always present outside the heart. So it allows the movement in the heart, right? Now the features: sinus venosus, triangular structure connected to the right atrium. We will see the structure. This is a small thin walled sac located on the base of the atrium. So at the base, what is at right atrium? Base of the right atrium. So there is a sinus venosus. Sinus venosus is what? You see, this is the sinus venosus. There is a vena cava. What is vena cava? Vena cava are the different veins. They joined together and form a thick vein. So our body is divided into two parts. The part that is above the heart, and even in the case of frog also, we are studying the frog. So in the frog also, the frog body is that can be divided into two parts. If you see the heart, from the part that is above the heart and the part that is below the heart. Okay. So the veins above the heart unite together and form a very thick vein that is called as superior vena cava. Superior vena cava. Why it is called as superior vena cava? Because all the veins has been united from the superior part of the body, upper part of the body from the heart. Okay. And similarly, from the lower parts of the body of the frog, all the veins unite together and forms inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava. Why it is called inferior vena cava? Because all the veins has been joined from the inferior part of the body, lower part of the body. Okay. Now, from the posterior region, this is the front region you are seeing in the heart. From posterior region, the lower inferior vena cava and upper superior vena cava comes together and join to this particular region and open in the right atrium through an opening that is a triangular shape opening that is called as sinus venosus. Sinus venosus. So this is a small thin walled sac located at the base of the atrium. Conus arteriosus. This is a muscular sac-like structure that emerges from the ventricle. This is a sac-like structure that comes out from the ventricle part, conus arteriosus. It contains a spiral valve that direct blood flow into the appropriate arteries. So it always, when there is a contraction and relaxation, so there is an opening of the ventricle and closing of the ventricle. Okay. So these valve-like structure do not allow the blood to flow back. Once it get closed, these valves are closed, so it do not allow the blood to go back, right? So it contain a spiral valve that direct the blood flow into the appropriate arteries. The blood should go to the appropriate artery, and for that they are having the spiral valve-like structure. And this valve-like structure, what it do? It ensures the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood are somewhat separated as they leave the heart. So once, as you all know that in the ventricle part, the deoxygenated and oxygenated are there and it get mixed ultimately. But it's still this arteriosus, what it do? As the deoxygenated blood is there and it goes to the ventricle goes to the lung part for the purification. At the same time, from the left atria, the pure blood is poured to the ventricle part. So this time, the pure blood is more in the ventricle part. At the same time, there is a contraction and the blood is passed to the aorta part through this spiral valve. So that is why this point is mentioned here. It ensures that oxygenated and deoxygenated blood are somewhat separated. They do not get mixed, somewhat separated as they leave the heart. Receives blood from the major vessels, that is called as vena cava, that we have already discussed. Arterial system. Now we will talk about the arterial system. Arterial region is made up of the two atria, the left atria and the right atria. So this left and right atria are combinedly called as arterial region. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the body. The right atrium. So you see the diagram of the heart. When you see the diagram of the heart, always this right part of the heart, the right part of the heart is the towards the left of our, okay, and the left will be towards the right of our body, right? So the arterial region is made up of the two atria, left and right, and the right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the bodies through vena cava, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. So here you can see the circulatory system in the case of frog. So this is the heart, okay, and you can see this part is deoxygenated and this part is comparatively oxygenated. Left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the lungs. The left atrium, it receives the oxygenated blood from the lungs, because from the lungs the blood get purified. Once it get purified, it is brought back to the atria through pulmonary vein. Now this is the exception. This is the exception that pure blood is always carried by the arteries and impure blood is always carried by the veins. But here you see the pure blood is brought from lungs to the left atria through pulmonary vein. This is exception. And similarly, the blood, impure blood from the heart goes to the lungs to get purified through pulmonary artery. So you must remember this. Carries blood from the heart to the body parts. So left artery receives the pure blood. So this pure blood later on passes to the every parts of the body through the circulation. Distributes nutrient and oxygen. In this blood, what is dissolved? Nutrients are there because This blood comes from the intestine also. This blood passes through the intestine also, right? And there all the nutrients are poured into the blood. So it is having a lot of nutrients, and once it get oxygenated from the lung region, so it is having a lot of oxygen as well. Venous system. Venous system means the ventricle part. So it collects blood from the body parts, returns blood to the heart, and there it get purified. Special portal system. Now this is a very important point. Portal system. Hepatic portal system connects liver and intestine. So this term hepatic is the meaning of heart. As you know, renal is the meaning of kidney. Wherever there is a renal word, it is related to the kidney, and wherever there is a hepatic word, it is related to the liver. So hepatic portal system. What is this portal system? Let us understand here. So here, this hepatic portal system, there is a connection between the liver and intestine. There is a connection between the liver and intestine. Renal portal system. Another portal system that is called as renal portal system that connects kidney and the lower parts, lower body parts, kidney and the lower body parts. So here are some of the features. Hepatic portal system. What is the meaning? Collect blood from the digestive organ and carries it to the liver. It is collecting blood from the, because veins are there. So all these veins collect the blood from the digestive organ, and once it is collecting the blood from the digestive organ, it is having nutrients in it, right? And carry it to the liver. See the renal portal system. What it is doing? Collect blood from the posterior body parts and carries it to the kidney. See this diagram. Let us see this stomach is there. So from the stomach you can see this is the hepatic portal. So all the veins you can see, it is coming from the intestine, it is coming from the stomach, and it is joining here. This one, hepatic portal, it is joining here, and then where it is going? It is going to the liver. It is going to the liver. And see about this renal one. Large intestine is there, small intestine is there, and here you can see the kidney. So this coming from the lower parts of the body, okay, and it is going to the renal part, that is the kidney, right? Originate from the stomach, intestine, pancreas, and spleen. It means that all the blood collected from the stomach part, intestine part, pancreas, and spleen, okay, this is the origin of this portal system. Renal portal system originate from the hind limb. Hind limb means your legs, tail region, and the posterior body wall. From these region, the blood is collected and brought to the kidney part. It is brought to the kidney part. Now, what is the main vessel here? Hepatic portal vein. And what is the main vein in the renal portal system? That is called as renal portal vein. What is the destination organ? Liver. Because from the digestive organ, all the bloods are taken by the vein, and it enters to which organ? Liver. It enters to the liver. Similarly, in the case of renal portal system, all the bloods collected by the veins through the lower parts of the body, the frog's leg, the frog's back, tail region of the frog, okay, and where it enters to the kidney. Now, what is the function of this hepatic portal system? Let us understand that. Carries nutrient from the digestion to the liver for processing. There is a requirement of processing. So whatever the nutrient that has been absorbed in the digestive system, it is taken to the liver. So they may contain some toxic substances. Toxic substances. So this detoxification occur in the liver, because liver help in the detoxification of the toxic substances. So that occur in the liver. It help in the metabolism. So now you can understand why this portal system is necessary. Now, functions of the renal portal system. It filters blood through the kidney because it contains lot of nitrogenous waste substances. So when it passes through the kidney, all the nitrogenous waste will be removed out. Okay. Help in excretion of the waste product. So it is helping excretory substance to be removed, that is brought from the lower parts of the body. It also maintains the water balance. So this is the function of the renal portal system, and this is the function of the hepatic portal system. So it increases the efficiency of the blood. It increases the purity of the blood. Detoxification, very, very important. Toxic substance should be removed, and that is done by the liver. That is why while entering to the heart, it passes through this liver. Once it passes through the liver, the detoxification is there. Okay. The processing of the digested food material and absorbed food material will be there. So the efficiency of the nutrients will be increased while getting purified for the this removal of the carbon dioxide while it goes to the heart and the lungs. Okay. So once all this is done from the hepatic portal system, the vein comes out from the liver and moves to the heart and joins to the inferior vena cava. Similarly, the renal portal system, the renal vein comes out from the kidney and it enters to the inferior vena cava, and that blood is also taken to the heart for further purification. Okay. Types of blood in the hepatic portal system. Deoxygenated blood, rich in nutrients. Here, what type of blood is there that reaches to the hepatic? Deoxygenated blood, but it is rich in nutrient because it has been passed through the digestive system. And whatever the nutrients are present after the digestion, absorbed nutrients that are poured directly into the blood, but it is deoxygenated. Similarly, for the renal portal system, deoxygenated blood with lot of waste product, lot of nitrogenous waste product. So this nitrogenous waste should be removed. So before going for deoxygenation, it goes to the kidney so that all the nitrogenous waste should be removed out. And after that, at the end, from both the hepatic portal system and renal portal system, the vein comes out. The veins comes out from the liver, and the vein comes from out from the kidney that joins to the inferior vena cava, and that reaches to the heart. Exit. Blood leaves via hepatic vein and posterior vena cava, and here in the renal portal system, blood leaves via renal vein to the posterior vena cava. It is the same thing, posterior vena cava or inferior vena cava. So here you can see the hepatic vein, and here you can see the renal vein, right? Blood composition, that is the fluid component. So there are blood cells, that is RBC. RBC is also called erythrocyte. They are nucleated cell that contain hemoglobin. Very important point. RBC of the frog are nucleated. Human RBC are enucleated, means no nucleus is present in the human RBC, but here they are having nucleus in the RBC. A very important feature. RBC in frogs are nucleated and oval in shape, unlike the enucleated disc-shaped RBC found in the human. This is the difference from the human regarding the RBC structure. WBC. This is called leukocyte. and they are helping in the immune response, right? So they are the immune system cells. RBC, WBC are the immune system cells. They are nucleated and circular. If you see the cells of the WBC, though, so they are nucleated and circular in shape, involved in the immune response. There are some other cellular structure that are called as platelets. So they are the blood clotting component. You all know that platelets are involved in the blood clotting, right? So these are the cells, okay, blood cells in frog. Now there is another system of the vascular system in the frog, that is the lymphatic system. Contain lymph fluid. This is another type of liquid apart from the blood. So that differ from the blood. What is the difference between the blood and the lymph? They lack certain proteins that are present in the case of blood. They does not contain RBC. RBCs are not there. So the lymph is colorless. They are not red in color because the blood becomes red in color due to the presence of this RBC only. Functions through the lymph channels and nodes. Okay. So there are lymph channels, very minute capillaries, and there are some nodes like structure. So you must have seen that there is a mumps sometimes. What is that mumps? So these nodes, they get swelled up. There is an inflammation due to the bacterial infection or any other germs infection. So it shows that your lymph has detected some infection in your body, right? So nodes are there and they do contain the WBC. So WBC fight with those germs that are present in this lymph system. Blood transport. What are the things that bloods are involved in the transportation? The first is nutrients. They are involved in the transportation of nutrients. They are also involved in the transportation of gases. Carbon dioxide and oxygen is transported by the gas, this blood only. Water is there. Circulation maintained by the heart pumping action. So the heart is there, okay, that pump the blood. If there is no pumping of the blood, then blood will not circulated in the body. So this pumping organ is very, very important. So that ensures the continuous supply of the essential material to the body tissues. So there is a continuous flow of blood in the body. Okay. Oxygenated blood is transported via the arteries to the every organ, and once the blood is reached there, along with the blood, every organ get nutrients, oxygen and water. That is very, very essential for the production of energy. So the nutrients, for example, glucose is there. So this glucose is broken down in the presence of oxygen, right? And that gives you the energy. Now there are different metabolic activities that are going on in the every parts of your body, every organ. So they produces the nitrogenous based substances as well as carbon dioxide. So again, that nitrogenous based substances and the carbon dioxide, that is again taken from that particular organ via blood only. So now you can understand that how blood are important. Now we will talk about the another system of the frog body, that is called as excretory system. So the frog has a sophisticated excretory system that handle the removal of nitrogen containing waste product, right? They are having a very different, or you can say a very specific type of excretory system, right? And that system is doing what? It removes the nitrogenous waste material from the body. So the excretory system of a frog includes the kidney. What are the different organs that unite together, to forms this particular system, this well developed system. What are the different organ? They are having kidney, they are having ureters, urinary bladder, and cloaca. All these unite together to form this excretory system. So here you can see the figure of the excretory system of a frog. This is the kidney part, okay, the bean shaped, and from the kidney, what is coming out? This ureter, right? And there is a bladder. This is there, you can see urinary bladder. So blood, this urine is passed from this region and it is collected in this urinary bladder, and time to time it is excreted out through this cloaca. Now the system include kidney, and this kidney is called as mesonephric kidney. What is the meaning of this mesonephric kidney? They are highly differentiated structure and function. The kidney, such type of kidney are found in the higher fishes. Higher fishes means your bony fishes. These are the higher fishes. Okay. And also the amphibians. And we are studying the amphibian, one of the amphibian, frog, right? So they are having this mesonephric kidney. What is the speciality? The mesonephric kidney contain approximately 40 pairs of nephron. 40 pairs of nephron. So comparatively, if we see the lower organism means the organism that are present below the amphibia. Amphibia is the phylum, right? So they are not having such type of well developed excretory system, right? So this kidney is well developed, and they are having the 40 pairs of nephron in the mesonephric kidney. This kidney is paired of flattened, elongated, and reddish brown organ. So this is the external feature, how the kidney look like. What is the shape? Okay, flattened and elongated, reddish brown organ. Located in the either side of the dorsal body wall, both the side. And kidney is the main organ of excretion. This is the main organ. Filter blood and produce urine. So in the blood, there's all nitrogenous substances there. So once this urine get filtered, okay, there is a process of selective reabsorption, then there is a secretion, and what you get at the end, that is the urine, right? So this system includes kidney, mesonephric kidneys, adrenal gland. There is also the adrenal gland. A narrow yellow adrenal or the suprarenal gland is attached to the ventral surface of the kidney, lower surface of the kidney. This gland is attached. Anterior connections, fat bodies, and either a testes in male or an ovary in female are attached to the anterior end of each kidney. So the kidney is not only involved in the process of excretion, it is also providing base so that these particular organs, you can see the testes is so important organ in the case of male frog, and similarly the ovary is very, very important in the case of female frog, right? So these reproductive organs are connected to this kidney only. The fat bodies are very important at the time of hibernation and estivation. So that is also attached to this. Here you can see this is the fat body, and from that side, if you see here, if it is a male frog, then there will be attachment of the testes part, and if it is a female, then what will be attached? Ovary, right? Here you can see the adrenal gland is attached here. Adrenal gland. Mesonephric tubule. Inside the kidney, there are tubules-like structure that is called as mesonephric tubule. It is composed of numerous tubules that are involved in the filtration and reabsorption process. Numerous tubules. Okay, number of tubules are there that are involved in the filtration and reabsorption process. So it is consist of glomeruli, which are specialized structure for the filtering body. Okay, a glomerulus is there that is called as glomeruli, and that is present in the cup-like shape structure, Bowman's capsule. And this another part is the renal part. The glomeruli is enclosed in a capsule that is called as Malpighian bodies or Malpighian capsule. So they are talking about the internal structure of the kidney. Ureter. So after kidney, the next part is the ureter. Tubes that carry urine from the kidney. Once there is a process of filtration, then reabsorption, then secretion, what we get at the end? Urine. So that urine passes from kidney through this ureter. And this open into cloaca. Okay. There is also urinary bladder. This is a thin-walled sac-like structure attached to the rectum part. Store urine temporarily. So here the urine is stored for temporary, okay, for some time, and that is connected to the cloaca part. So here you can see this urinary bladder. This is attached to this cloaca part, and this is the opening. So all the urine goes to this urinary bladder, and time to time it is released out from this cloaca. Skin of frog is also working as a excretory organ sometime. Act as an accessory excretory organ. It is not a main excretory organ, but it is working as an accessory excretory organ. Helps in removing excess water and some waste. If the body is having a lot of water inside their body and some waste substances are there, so at that time, skin remove all that extra water and some waste substances. So here you can see it is present in the water. So at that time, they can remove out the excretory substances from the skin only, right? And there is a kidney part. So the kidney is having the unit structure that is called as nephron. So nephron is there. They are having the glomerulus. They are having the kidney tubule that is leading for the filtration and the reabsorption process. And ultimately the urine is there. So filtration, that is the first, if you talk about the mechanism of excretory process, then the first thing is the excretion. Blood pressure forces plasma through the glomerulus. Inside the glomerulus, there is a pressure of the blood. So there is a filtration process. Okay. So that forms the filtrate in the Bowman's capsule. And that contain water, salt, and the waste product. Along with the waste substances, some useful substances are also filtered out. Salts are there, electrolytes are there, water, glucose are there. So all that useful substances has to be reabsorbed, right? So there is a process of reabsorption after filtration. Reabsorption. Useful substances reabsorbed into the blood includes water, glucose, and amino acids, right? So these are very small molecules that is filtered out. But the cellular component and the proteins are not filtered out from the blood. That occurs in the renal tubule. Now this reabsorption process, where this reabsorption process is taking place? In the renal tubules. Secretion, third part. Additional waste secreted into the tubules. Some of the waste substances that are still present in the blood or in the kidney part, so that is secreted out into the that tubule like region. And to maintain the osmolarity also, there is some secretion process. So include the excess of iron and some drugs. Now we will talk about the summary. Frogs have 3-chambered heart, 2 atria and 1 ventricle, and that forms a closed circulatory system because the blood is flowing through the arteries, veins and capillaries. Blood flows through the arteries, veins and capillaries carrying the oxygen and nutrient. Mixed oxygenated and deoxygenated blood occur in the ventricle. In the ventricle, that is the lower part of the heart, they are carrying this mixed type of blood. The excretory system consists of the paired kidney, ureter, urinary bladder and cloaca. These are the different parts of the excretory system. Kidney filters the blood and remove the waste product from the body. Excess of water and nitrogenous waste substances, that is mainly urea, are eliminated out through the cloacal region. Now this cloacal region is very, very important. Instead of this cloaca in the human, we are having the anus, and we are having two different outlet. That is anus for removal of semi-solid substances, right? And for the liquid nitrogenous waste substances, we are having the urinogenital system, right? But here in the case of frog, only one opening is there, and that is the cloaca. Skin also assists in excretion through the mucus gland. Now there will be some NCERT based question. The first question is here. How does the excretory system of a frog differ from that of the fish or a bird? Discuss the differences in the terms of nitrogenous waste products and the mechanism that is involved here. So let us see the answer of this question. They are asking the difference between the excretory system of frog and the bird, fish or bird. So this was our question. And the excretory system of frog, fish and bird differs significantly in the terms of the nitrogenous waste product and the excretory mechanism. So the excretory substance is also different, and products that are formed that are also different. Let us see. Frog. The main nitrogenous waste substances is the urea. So it is ureotelic. Key organ, kidney. Kidney is the main excretory organ, and the other organ are the urinary bladder and the skin. Produce urea through the urea cycle in the liver. This urea cycle is occurring in the liver, so there the urea is produced. Have a urinary bladder for the waste conservation. Now in this fish, what is the main excretory organ? Here, the main excretory substance is the ammonia. See, what is the difference? Urea was there, right? And here, ammonia. And that is why it is called as ammonotelic. Fish are ammonotelic organisms. Key organ, kidney, mesonephric, and gills are also there. Direct excretion of ammonia through the gills. And for removal of ammonia, a lot of water is required. So gills are there, and this organism live in the water only. So the ammonia could be the excretory substances here. No need convert toxic ammonia to the less toxic form. So comparatively, we see the urea is the less toxic substances. But here, in the case of fishes, this ammonia is highly toxic substances, and that is why their removal required a lot of water. No urinary bladder in most species, right? In the case of fishes, urinary bladder is not there because they do not require to store that nitrogenous waste substance. They can remove any time because they are living in the water. Next, let us see the birds. Main nitrogenous waste is the uric acid, and that is why they are uricotelic. Key organ, kidney and cloaca produce uric acid, which require less water for the excretion. You can see what is the excretory substance here, uric acid, and removal of uric acid require very less amount of water. No urinary bladder is there. They do not have urinary bladder because they have to keep their body light, and that is adaptation of the flying. Next question. Explain the significance of the pulmonary and the systemic circuits in the frog circulatory system. How does the cutaneous respiration, skin breathing play a role in this system? Pulmonary circuit. What is this? They carries the deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. Okay, when there is a circulation of blood between the heart and the lung, this is called as pulmonary circulation. Because pulmonary, what is the meaning of pulmonary? Lung. And that is why you see the artery that reaches to the lung, that is called as pulmonary artery, and the vein that comes out from the lung, that is called as pulmonary vein. So wherever the term pulmonary is there, you have to remember it is coming from the lung, right? Blood becomes oxygenated in the lung through the gas exchange. So there is an exchange of gases in the case of lungs, and that makes the blood purify. Okay, and it becomes oxygenated. Returns oxygenated blood back to the heart, and once they get oxygenated, the oxygenated blood is brought back to the heart. Now we will talk about the systemic circulation. Distribute oxygenated blood from the heart to the body. Now there is a circulation between the heart and body parts. Earlier we have seen in the case of circulation between the heart and the lung. Now here the circulation is occurring between the heart and the different parts of the body. So that deliver oxygen and nutrients to the different organs and muscles. So returns deoxygen, and once all the nutrients and oxygen reaches to the different parts of the body, there is again metabolic activities going on there. So that again produces the carbon dioxide and nitrogenous waste substances. So it is brought back again to the heart to get purified. Now, significance of the pulmonary and systemic. We are talking about the cutaneous respiration. What is the role of cutaneous respiration? Provides additional oxygen absorption through the skin. So from the skin also they can take the oxygen. Especially important when the frogs are underwater. When the frogs are inside water, so at that time they can take the oxygen which is dissolved in water. They can take that oxygen through their skin. Accounts for approximately 20 to 25% of oxygen intake, right? And that require moist skin to function efficiently. So once they are in water, they are always moist. That works in the conjunction with the pulmonary respiration. And they are also, this cutaneous respiration is also required at the time of hibernation and estivation. So three conditions are there. Once they are in water, fully submerged, once they are in the process of estivation and hibernation. Keynotes. Frog have 3-chamber heart. You have to remember this. Okay. Frog can shunt blood flow between the pulmonary and systemic circuits. Frog blood contain nucleated red blood cells. This is the unique feature of this blood. Frogs have hepatic and renal portal system, specialized venous connection between the liver and intestine and the kidney. This we have seen in the case of renal and hepatic portal system. Ureter in the case of frog transport urine from the kidney to the cloaca. And the cloaca is a common chamber where the urine, feces and the reproductive product, sperms and eggs are expelled out. So we will discuss more about this cloaca when we will study about the reproductive system, right? Some interesting question. The frog heart has 3 chambers, 2 atria and 1 ventricle. Explain how the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood is minimized within the ventricle despite it being a single chamber. Next question, describe the role of sinus venosus in the frog circulatory system and how does it differ from the atria and ventricle in the terms of blood flow and functions. So this is all about today's session. Thank you very much. But now we will have DPP, today's DPP. So in just a minute, I'll come up with the DPP. So be with us. So here is the first question. Which of the following is not a characteristic of frog? First, A. Poikilotherms, B. Closed circulatory system, C. Presence of copulatory pad in females, and ureotelic excretion. So frogs are poikilotherms, cold-blooded, right? They are having the closed circulatory system. Okay, they are having the closed, all frogs are having the closed circulatory system, right? Just now we have read. Presence of copulatory pad in females. Copulatory pads are found in the male, not in the female. First finger of the male, they are having the copulatory pads, right? Ureotelic. Yes, urine is the excretory substance, so they are ureotelic, urea. So this is the correct answer, right? This is not a characteristic of a frog. Next question. In frog, digestion of carbohydrates and the protein is primarily carried out by the enzyme from gastric juice, B. bile, C. pancreatic juice, and D. intestinal villi. Gastric juice is secreted in the case of stomach, and that contain HCl, mucus, and some enzyme that is pepsinogen that get converted in the form of pepsin through HCl, right? But here they are talking about the digestion of carbohydrate and protein. Okay, so which organ is involved? Here pancreatic juice is there. Bile is not having any enzyme, so it is not directly involved in the process of digestion. Intestinal villi is the organ that is involved in the process of absorption. So pancreatic juice is the organ that is involved in the digestion of carbohydrate and protein, right? So we will save and move to our next question. Which structure in frog is responsible for receiving sound signal? Sound signal. From which organ the male frog produces the sound? A. nictitating membrane, B. tympanum, C. vocal sacs, and D. cloaca. Very simple. Which organ is there? Nictitating membrane is present on the eye, so it helps the frog to be in the water. So this nictitating membrane, okay, it is helping the frog when the frog is present in the water. So it is related to the eye. Tympanum, that is the eardrum, okay, the tympanic membrane that is related to the ear. Vocal sac are the organ that is present in the neck region that is responsible for the producing sound, and this male frog produce sound to attract the female frog. Cloaca, that is related to the removal of excretory substances, nitrogenous substances. So C is the correct answer. We will save and move to our next question. Frogs respire through their skin during A. Pulmonary respiration on land. B. Estivation and hibernation. C. Active swimming in water. D. Vocalization using the vocal sac. So frog respire mostly through their skin at the time of estivation and hibernation. Yes, this is the correct answer. Next question. Which statement about the frog's heart is correct? A. It is two chamber, one atrium and one ventricle. B. It is covered with the pericardium and it has three chambers. C. The sinus venosus joins the left atrium. D. The conus arteriosus is located in the dorsal side. So, sinus venosus joins to the right atrium, not the left. Okay, so C is incorrect. The conus arteriosus is located on the ventral side, not the dorsal side. And the upper one, the first one, it is two chambered. No, the heart of the frog is three chambered and it is covered by pericardium. So option B is also correct in this case. We'll save, submit the result. So why this 3 is showing the incorrect? Vocal sac. Okay. Okay, I told the vocal sac, but I opt this tympanum. So this vocal sac is the correct answer, right? Okay, so this is all about today's session. Thank you very much for attending today's session.